Okay. All right. So can everyone see the board? You okay? Yes, you guys see it? Yes. All right. So what we're going to be doing is this is all about the applications of percentages. So you're not really learning any new skills. It's more about knowing the words we're going to use and put into the question so that you know which skill to use. So it's all still just finding a percentage amount, increasing by a percentage, or decreasing by a percentage, or finding the original amount. They're pretty much the 4 skills you need to know. But most of you, the part you find tricky is breaking down the question to actually work out what skill you need to use. So this is where we want to make sure that you understand the different words which we're using and how to actually apply to real life, okay? Now, I've talked about most of these already, so we're just writing them down so that if you forget, you can make sure that you remember later on. So the first sort of word is inflation. Inflation. So inflation, can anyone think about what it is? Is it finding a percentage amount? Is it a percentage increase? Is it a percentage decrease? Or is it finding the original amount? Which one do you think it is? It's a percentage increase. So in brackets, I'm just going to make sure that we link it to something. All right. So inflation is the rise in the price of goods over a year. We usually just write it as like a percentage average based over the year. And it's mainly looking at, and I think I talked about the other day, it's mainly looking at staples. So like the price of bread, the price of milk, price of things which you actually need each day, price of electricity, things like that would be counted as inflation, okay? And when we talk about, just for you guys to know, sometimes you'll see like nurses and doctors and teachers and different people on strike about their pay rates, and because they want a pay rise. And one of the reasons why people expect to get pay rises over years is because of the price of inflation. And so they'll say that their pay rise is just going in line with inflation, which means that the price of living is increasing, and so therefore people's salaries have to increase to be able to survive. Does that make sense? So that's why there's people, it's not that people just want more money, it's the fact that it costs more to live, so therefore their pays have to increase. And that's why if their pay increase is just in line with inflation, that's actually just them keeping their income at the same as their price of living as you go through. So just something good to know. So it's just a percentage increase. It's usually they can talk about similar to this question we just did here, where it's different each year, or it might say it was the same each year. And so you just do a repeated increase as we go. I'm not even going to do an example of that because I think you just need to know the words. Is everyone okay with that? All right. That is exercise 2B, is just inflation. There's 3 questions there, so we'll do them later on. All right, the word discount. What do you think that is about? Discount means percentage decrease. Okay, so a percentage decrease, a discount is when an item's price or value, let's say price, is decreased by a percentage. What are some examples of when you'd get a discount? What are some other words you might see? Because they might not use the word discount. Sale, okay, so e.g. sale. Anything else? Reduced. Pardon? Clearance, yeah, like clearance would be always be a price reduction, usually the best one. Always look for the clearance sign. Okay, those are the words you might see. As soon as you see those words, you need to go, okay, discount. So you might have like a staff discount, things like that. Discount voucher, things like that. Okay, sale price. If something's price reduced or if it's in a clearance bin or something like that, then usually it's that percentage decrease. So we need to know that. Right? We've already done lots of examples when we did increase and decrease with these. So unless you want me to do an example, we're just gonna keep going. We'll do some practice. Is that okay with everybody? All right. So the next one we will definitely, actually, I'll do that one last. Profit and loss. Actually, no, we'll do commission. Commission we will do some examples of, because we haven't done any examples of commission yet. So commission. Do you think commission's a percentage increase, a percentage decrease, or a percentage of? It's a percentage of. Okay, so when you get a commission, what happens? Yep. Good, okay. When else do you get commissions? Yep. Good. If you're a salesperson, especially for things like cars and big luxury items and stuff and houses and things like that, you get a commission. So you get a percentage of the amount which you sold something for. So therefore, if you can get the full price for the car, you're going to get a bigger percentage chunk than if you allow them to beat you down in price, and therefore you get it. So a commission is a percentage of the amount an item is sold for given to the seller. Some employees receive a base salary or retainer plus commission. I'll explain what that means with a couple of different scenarios. So a salesperson in like a clothing shop, not all clothing shops do this, but some do. A salesperson in a clothing shop might get a reduced salary, so they might get like $10 an hour, but then they might get 5% of all the items they sell. So you get a salary for how much for you working, but it's a bit less than what someone else might get. But then if you sell a whole heap of items, you're going to get more money. If you sell no items, you just get that base salary. Other people who, for example, might, just trying to think of an example. Other people might get what's called a retainer, okay, which means you get a chunk of money and then you get a commission and a percentage. So it's not just a salary, like as in you get paid per hour. You might get paid $100 a day to come in and then a commission. So that's what a retainer means. It just is a chunk of money. Okay, so salary is like per hour. Retainer is one lump sum of money. It can be, but in terms of this, like a base salary is like, you can work it out. We'll talk about wages and things later on, but for now it's just that sort of an amount per hour, per year, something along those lines, whatever you get. Okay. But then you get plus commission. So it means that people really, really want to sell a lot of items at a high price if they're on a commission. And so you need to be aware of where people are going to be on a commission, because someone, particularly if they're working in a clothing store and they work on a commission, everything you try on is going to look amazing in their eyes. Okay, so don't always trust the shop assistant, because really some of them, it's just about them trying to get their money. Okay, take your friend in instead. But most don't these days. It's not used as much, but definitely car salesmen, definitely house, like real estate, they work on a commission. So they want to charge you the most they can while looking like they're giving you an amazing deal. What's interesting is when I bought my car, I went for a test drive with one guy and he talked to me one day, and I came back the next day and I went on a test drive again. But then when I got there, he then goes, oh, I've actually got, the owners asked me to go to that group. He didn't realize I was going to buy the car at that point. He goes, I'll just let you talk to my friend And his friend came and I went, yeah, I'll buy it. And we signed all the documents. And I walked past him and he went, I didn't get the commission. And I was like, no, but I want him to get the commission. They went, it's too late, you signed with him. And so I was like, well, make sure you like buy him a drink. I said, make sure you buy him a drink. He goes, a carton more like it, was what he said. But to be aware that it is quite a big thing. So if you do get good service from a real estate agent or those sort of people who get a commission as well, you want to make sure that they get your commission, not someone else. So I sent my mum to him when she went and bought a car. All right. So for example, let's try a story. E.g. Nellie earns $120 per day retainer and 8% profit on all sales. If she sells $3,000 worth of goods on one day, how much does she earn? So this isn't a percentage increase or decrease, it's finding a percentage of the amount, and then if there's like a retainer, you need to make sure that you add that retainer as well. So how would I work this out? She definitely gets how much money? $120. So we'll start with $120. Then we have to work out that percentage. Now remember that because we use BIMDAS, it's going to do that, the two parts separately anyway. Just make sure you don't add the 120 to your 3,000 and then find the percentage, because that's not right. But because we're using BIMDAS, it should be fine. Plus 3,000 times by 0.08. We're finding 8% of that amount. So we're finding 8% and then we're adding the $120. Yeah. Could someone just find 8% of 3,000 for me without adding the 120 first? I'll just make sure we set him. 240. So we've got 120 plus 240, which equals $360. Everyone agree with that? Is it okay? Not too hard? There's a fair amount. And that's why, like, when you think about a house being worth like $1 million and then that real estate agent getting a percentage of that, you can see why real estate agents, but it's not like it's just one day's work for them. It could be like 6 months work or whatever. So that they actually need to, at some point, sell that house to be able to make the money which they need to. So people think they're greedy and all that sort of thing, but actually they're working really hard to get that in the end. I'm not totally sure. I know that there's a bit of it, but I don't know. I have to find that out. I don't know any real estate agents. They do? I know that it will be a lot on commission, and that's why they're usually really good salespeople. Pardon? They'll let you have what? If they're not selling anything, yeah. All right. Okay, there's one other part to commission, and that is called, I've forgotten what it's called. Stepped commission. I know what it is, I just don't know the official word. Okay, stepped commission is another type of commission, and that's where the commission you earn changes as the amount you sell increases. Now, this is a little bit confusing, so I do need everybody to focus, okay? So, for example, a stepped commission works on a table, so you'd always get given a table, okay? And I really have to show you for it to make sense, okay? So, for example, commission table. You'd get given a different scenario each time. And so I might say, if I sell something, so make it I'm selling houses, okay? 0 to $300,000, I'm going to earn 4% commission. $300,001 to $500,000, I'm going to earn 3% commission. $500,001 onwards, I'm going to earn 2% commission. Now get you to write that down, and then we're going to do it together because it can be a little bit confusing. It doesn't mean that if you sell a house for $600,000, you only get 2% commission of all of it. Doesn't mean that it's the same rate for the whole thing. What do you think it might be if I buy a house which is typically $600,000?
In each, you get 4% between 2 and 300.
I get 4% on the first $300,000, and then I get 3% of that $200,000 in here, and then I get 2% on any amount over the $500,000. So what happens is I get, no matter what, I pretty much get this first 4% over here, as long as I sell over the houses over this. So it's not that you get less commission if you sell a house for more. You've got to sort of think about it in real life. You're not going to get less money because you sell a more expensive house. Okay, that's not the way it goes. But it is saying you're going to get less per, like in that once you hit there, you get less per dollar as we go through. So the way which we do this is so let's work out, we'll write an example story and then I'll explain it a little bit better for you. E.g., I sell a house for $600,000. What is my commission? Right, so $600,000. Now, the first $300,000 I get 4% on. So how am I going to work out my commission there? Okay, so that's 4% of $300,000. I then get 3% on any amount of dollars from $300,001 and $500,000. So how many dollars are there between that, there and there? If I include that $1, it's actually $200,000. Okay, because that dollar's included. If I actually got if I sold a house for $301,000, I would get $1 worth of this 3%. Okay, so it is, and I'll do another example. We'll do 2 examples of this. Okay, so I've then got to say plus I get 3% of, so 300,000 to 500,000. How many dollars are there? Let's take them away from each other. $200,000. So I've got $200,000 worth of 3%. So now I'm at $500,000 selling price. But I sold for more than that. How much more did I sell from? How much more did I sell the house for? Another $100,000. So then I get plus $100,000 worth of 2%. And we put that in our calculator and get an answer. Exactly? Oh, that was a good made-up question. $20,000 commission. Okay, because I got 4% of 300,000, I got 3% of 200,000, I got 2% of 100,000. Yes. We'll just use one example then, just because it's a bit trickier. Well, it's not really. All right, so what if I sold a house selling price of $349,000. How would I work out my profit from that? 300,000 times 0.04. Most people can get that bit. It's the last bit here. What do we do? 49,000 times by? Perfect. Sorry, that's a plus, not a times. How much? Can someone else try it out and just make sure it's right? Yeah? Do you say? Yeah, is that right? Perfect. All right, so a stepped commission just means that the first amount you sell it for is at a certain percentage, and the next chunk is at a different percentage, the next chunk is at another percentage. The best way to do this is practice. Now, this is the same as income tax. You ever get a tax table? People get taxed when they earn a certain amount of money, you get taxed to a certain percentage. Then if you earn more, you get taxed another percentage. But everyone for their first, $60,000 of earning gets taxed the same amount. If you then earn more, you get taxed a bit more. Then earn more, you get taxed a bit more. And we'll do that another day. Okay, but it's exactly the same process. All right, last thing, which we've already done, I think that's probably the hardest bit of today. The last thing is profit and loss. We've already done some of these. Now, this is all either, what do you think? Well, profit is a percentage. Increase. Loss is a percentage. Decrease. If you're trying to remember those words, if you say the word profit, it's a percentage increase. If you say the word loss, it's a percentage decrease. All right, percentage profit. Now, if you just want to find out just the profit and you don't want to have to, you know how we got 104%? If you just want to get the 4% rather than getting 104%, you know it's profit, then you can use this formula, which is profit divided by original amount times 100. I actually find it easier to just go the price, your second price from your original amount times 100 and just work out that it's a profit by getting 100 and something percent, or the loss by getting less than 100%. But officially, we need to show you how to do it this way as well. Percentage loss is the loss, so how much money you've lost divided by original amount times 100 as well. So I'll just do one example. I'll do one with loss, e.g. Lewis buys a hamburger for $4.80 and sells it for $4. What is his percentage loss? So what is the actual loss? How much money has he lost? 80 cents. So we'd go 0.8 over, what did we start with? What did he actually buy it for to start with? $4.80 times 100. And we get a percentage. You bought it, you weren't hungry, your mate was, you decided to sell it to him. Just deal with my random made up questions, you'll be fine, okay? Can someone just put it in the calculator for me? Okay, so 16.67% loss. Now, if you'd written $4 divided by $4.80, what number would you have gotten? Could someone do that for me? $4 divided by $4.80. It's all right, I wanted a 0.88. 0.83 and continue. Recurring, 33. All right, so if you get this number, so if you wanted to, this is the way I always do it. It's up to you how you want to. I get that and I go, okay, that is a percentage decrease because it's less than 100. And I'd go 100, take that, and I'd still get the same answer. This way works for everything. So the bottom one works for everything, whether it's percentage increase. If it's percentage increase, it's going to be 1 point something something. If it's percentage decrease, it's going to be less than 1. So that works for everything. Otherwise, you actually need to go, is it a loss or is it a profit? How much is it? And work it out. But either way gets you the correct answer. Any questions? All right, we have now finished chapter 2, but we've got quite a lot of questions to do. I would like you to work on them tonight and we'll do some tomorrow as well. And then we're going to move on to simple interest. So there's a few different questions to do. So exercise 2B, question 1 only. And then exercise 2C, questions. We're going to go 1, there's a whole heap. We're going to go 1 to 29 every second question. They're each single question. So you're going to do 1, and then 3, and then 5. Okay. So questions 1 to 29, every second question. You will have 15 minutes tomorrow to work on this, but that's it. So you need to have these all done. Every second question means 1, 3, 5, etc. Onwards, all the way to 29. Okay? We've still got 5 minutes, don't we? Book 1. Tish, do you have a book now? Yeah. Hans, do you have a book? Do you want to grab someone's book and photocopy it so then you've got the questions to do? Could you write down that homework is about to come off the board? Yeah. And possibly a bit of area. Bits together. You could at least get exercise 2B question 1 done in this time. Exercise 2B is about inflation. So 2B is just one question you can get done in the next 2 minutes. It's not very hard. I don't know. Not Tuesday, not Friday.